It's Erica with an A. Welcome, guys. I'm so glad you came on my channel. I do lighthearted reviews and unapologetic opinions about these crazy reality TV shows. Now, it is season 14, episode 3. We are finally done with the weddings, and I'm so excited. This is the last episode. We have to endure the weddings because I'm ready to get to the drama. Now, let's get into it with my favorite couple, Noi and Steve. So we finished off last episode with Noi about to walk down the aisle to meet Steve. She looks gorgeous. You know, I'm still a little iffy about her makeup, but that's just my opinion, okay? So she walks down the aisle, and Steve, from when he sees her, you can tell he's feeling her. She's a beautiful girl. She's crying and a little emotional, and I love it. She's an emotional girl. She's been crying every episode so far, okay? So she gets down the aisle, and you could already tell they have a good connection. She asks him, hey, what's your last name? He says, my last name is Moy. And she does a little chuckle because, of course, her name is Noi. So she's like, Noi Moy. And I thought that was extremely cute, okay? So what they do is they do their vows. And then you could tell again that there's a good connection there. So they were able to kiss and then walk down the aisle together. It was beautiful. They had a little conversation, you know, where they pour up on the champagne. And I loved how their conversation just flowed. It was nothing awkward about it. And you know how that first conversation goes. It's extremely awkward. And them two, oh my gosh, I felt like they knew each other before this because their conversation really flowed. So moving on. So after the wedding, after the combo, it's time to meet the family. So she goes over to meet his mom and his family. She knows he has a big family, and so she was excited to meet all of them. She was bubbly, and you could tell his family probably liked her because of her personality, right? So it was a good vibe. When they were about to go into the reception, she kind of pulled him to the side and said, hey, you know, I'm a traditional girl and I want to show you my culture. So she gave him some garments to wear, which was a cloth around that crosses over his suit. And she had this beautiful garment on as well. This, it was this red, yellow garment that she looks really beautiful in. Now, I'm not gonna lie. His cloth over his suit, it looked like a picnic basket, okay? I didn't understand. It didn't really flow with hers, but I think maybe it was like a last minute purchase, you know, and they could only find like a picnic cloth. I don't know, but I wasn't feeling it. But they're both attractive people, so they can wear anything, right? So they go into the reception, they do their first dance, and it is adorable, right? You could tell they're both very awkward dancers as far as when it comes to slow dancing, but they still were adorable. Their families did the whole, you know, you put your fork and your spoon together and you're, you know, tapping it so for them to kiss. And they did kiss while they were dancing, which I thought was very cute. So the reception went well. And of course, they talk about, they meet up with like the friends and family, and they each have a conversation with them and try to get to know the other person. And theirs was pretty vague. Like their friends had nothing really juicy to say, just that they're good people, right? Now moving on. So after the wedding, you know, it's time for them to have one-on-one time in the bedroom. So you know that question always comes up of, will you consummate the marriage kind of thing. And Steve basically was like, hey, I'm taking it slow. You know, I want to get to know her before I do anything like that. I thought it was very awkward that he had this conversation with her brother. And the brother was kind of like egging on the sex, right? He was just like, hey, y'all are married, da, da, da. And Steve was like, no, you know, I'm just going to wait it out. Brother, I don't know. I don't know why you're pushing your sister Noi to have sex, but it was a little weird. Anyways, so they get to where they send them off to go their happy way to the hotel. And you can tell that it's probably going to be a good night because there's no real pressure going on, right? So they get in the bed. Noi wears a cute little, you know, spaghetti strap with some shorts. She's cute. She's not being too sexy with it. She's keeping it cute, keeping it classy. She took off all her makeup. And me personally, I think Noi looks much better without makeup or less makeup. She's a beautiful girl. So she had her glasses on. She was super cute. The next couple I want to talk to you about is Jasmina and Michael. So they did not show a lot of this couple this episode. I think because their relationship was going really good and it was flowing and it was, a joy to watch because you could tell they have a connection. And Jasmina's beautiful, Michael's chill and really down to earth. So I think that's why they didn't show them. They didn't give us a lot of, drama or anything like that. But they do show them walking into the reception, having a good time. They also did a slow dance, and it looked beautiful. It looked natural, right there. Conversation was flowing. Their families also did the little, ding, ding, ding with the fork and the spoon, and they did kiss. So I thought that was cute. During the reception, though, each of them went off to talk to the other one's family, right? And so Jasmina was talking to Michael's family. Now, mind you, we already talked about how his sisters seem a little protective, and they're like, hey, we used to be his girlfriends, now it's you type thing. So I was interested to see how their conversation would go with Jasmina, but truthfully, it was probably the sweetest conversation I've seen on the show, right? Their mom passed away not that long ago, and so they wanted to let her know that you are now part of our family. And so they all had these pins on to represent the mom. And they said, Jasmina, we want you to have a pin as well. So we all know that she's here in this union. And I thought that was beautiful. I love his sisters. They're so sweet. Jasmina kind of teared up because I almost teared up. It was such a cute moment. And so she put the pin on and she really let us know that she was feeling his family, right? And that's key. You know how it is. If you have a mother-in-law or a family-in-law that you are good with, right? They don't cause no drama. They're fun to be around. That is a blessing because a lot of people don't have that. Okay, so they enjoyed their reception. Now, when it's ready to leave, you could tell both of them probably won't be having intercourse tonight. I think they're both going to keep it classy. But it showed them driving off to go to the hotel. So they get to the hotel, they take off their clothes, put on their night clothes. I don't know. Jasmina could have, livened it up a little bit with the sexier wardrobe to bed. And then she wore the bonnet. Like, I know we all wear our bonnets to bed, but I feel like the first night, why the bonnet so early in the game? Like, let's give him the first night of his sexy wife without the wrap. But hey, to each his own. But that's how I feel. My first night with, I'm going to keep it still cute, But anyway, Jasmina's beautiful, so hey, she can rock it. Sounds like they probably stayed up all night talking because they were just giggling, laughing, that kind of thing. But I was shocked that they didn't show more of Jasmina and Michael this episode. But hey, maybe I'm just biased because I love that couple, okay? All right, so moving on, let's talk about Lindsay and Mark. Mark the Shark. Okay, so let's talk about them. So they've already gotten married. Now they're in the reception. And he's starting to notice that, Lindsay's a little vulgar and she's very loud, right? And so he's just worried that will she be lovable, right? Like he's seen this loud, energetic side, and now he's wondering, okay, I can kind of deal with the energetic side, but is there going to be a moment where we're lovable and enjoying each other and affectionate, They also, their family do the little ding, ding, ding and put their forks and spoons together. And it was almost like Lindsay didn't want to kiss him. I don't know if she was drunk or what, but I was getting the vibe that she didn't really want to kiss Michael because she kept kind of talking to other people, making little side jokes. But she finally did end up kissing her man, and it was lovely. They're a cute couple, right? Now, you know how I feel about, Lindsay. She keeps mentioning his penis size, and she keeps mentioning it, and she keeps mentioning it. And I'm like, girl, when was the last time you got laid? Because you seriously keep mentioning this man's penis size, right? She's talking to her girls, talking about, oh, no, not his girls. Actually, not her girls, but his friends. Talking about, oh, his ring size was big. You know what that means. And I'm like, girl, Lindsay, stop. Like, jeez. But anyways, that's just her, right? So also Mark the Shark talks to her dad, and they have a really good conversation. They're basically like, Lindsay's an awesome chick, but just don't get on her bad side. And we can all kind of see that she can probably be very mean when she gets on her bad side. But anyways, Mark wants to be sure that her father knows that he's a traditional guy. He would have definitely asked him for her hand in marriage, and so he wanted to make sure they were cool. They were on the same page, you know. And the dad seems really sweet, and he was like, "Yes, you have my blessing. You have my permission. Let's do this," right? So I really thought that was cute of him to ask the father, because that is traditional, you know. So anyways, after their reception, it's time to head back to the hotel. And you already know my girl Lindsay is going to be down to consummate tonight. Like, you can already tell she's tipsy, you know, a little drunk, and she keeps talking about this, right? So I'm thinking they're probably going to consummate their marriage, but we'll see. They get to the hotel, and she's changing and that kind of thing. And Mark the Shark is just kind of sitting there making these weird, quirky jokes about how she'll probably want to jump on the bed at 4 a.m. and all that weird stuff. But I don't think she's that type. I think she's either going to be down for it or go to bed. And that's what I think. Anyway, she comes out. She looks great with no makeup on. She lays down, talks to Mark the Shark a little bit. And it seemed like they're probably going to get a little busy because, you know, at the end they were spooning kind of hard there. So I'm thinking, you know, they going to get a little. Anyways, now on to the next couple, Katina and O. So this is the couple that I think is going to bring the most drama. They're exciting to me, okay? So I'm hoping they bring the drama, right? All right, so they got married last episode. So now they're about to go into the reception, right? So they're still talking. They're taking beautiful pics together. Like, I love their pictures together. Like, they look like they should be on a magazine. They're so cute. So they take their pictures, and they're kissing a lot. Like, a lot. To where I'm just like, okay, like, Katina may drop some panties tonight, because she is literally kissing him in every other scene, right? So it's getting, you know, a little hot. But anyways, so they have a good time. They have the conversation with the families at the reception. And you know what I mean, is talking to the mother of the bride, Katina. And when he's talking to her, he accidentally calls her Katrina, which is easy to do because you think there should be an R in her name, right? So that mom corrects him real quick. Like, I don't like when people do that. Her name is Katina. Get it right, okay? And so I thought that was cute. But confessed to us that he has ADHD, which I thought was interesting. And that could explain kind of, you know, him being so talkative. But at the same time, his mom seemed a little rude. Like, the mom asked, "Oh, do you take medication for that?" And it's like, do you want me to go in your medicine drawer and see what you take, mama? Right? Like, okay. So he answered it right. He's like, "Yeah, I take medication for that, but we all good over here." Okay. Which I liked his response. Then the mom asked, "Hey, what are your intentions for my daughter?" He doesn't really explain it properly, in my opinion. He kind of talks about everything but the actual, intentions, right? He just goes on this rant about how great he is and how he's smart and this is what he wants for a wife and all that kind of thing. And he doesn't really give her a clear response. But the mom is still kind of like, okay, I'm taking it in. Then you could tell she's like, look, this conversation is getting too long. You know, like, I want to get to know you, but this is a lot. So she literally makes up something so she can get away from O's conversation. I thought it was hilarious. She said something like, "Oh, is there a duck over there?" or something like that. And then he turns and then she like jets out. And I thought that was hilarious. But I hope Katina's mama is not rude, but she did kind of come off like that in their conversation. But hey, this is the first night, they're meeting, so I don't know how she's going to be. Or maybe the mom sees through. Mr. O. Okay, maybe she sees through it, and she's like, I'm not feeling him. Right? You never know. Anyways, Katina goes to talk to his boys, right? The groomsmen. And they have a good conversation. You know, they're basically asking, like, hey, are you a party girl? Like, what kind of chick are you? And she's letting them know, hey, in my early 20s, I may have hit the club, but right now I'm 30. I'm ready to settle down. So I could tell they were feeling her. They were giving her just information about O, and I feel like they weren't being totally truthful. But hey, this is the first time they're meeting her, right? So they don't have to be, you know, give all the tea like some people did in the episode. We'll get to that later, but some people overshared. But I mean, his friends were just keeping it light, you know, and so I thought that was cool. So after they meet up with the family, they do a little chat. They also, you know, like I said, do a lot of kissing. But they did the groomsmen toss, you know, where they take the garter and take it off the woman and throw it, you know. And O was a clown, okay? Every chance he gets, he wants to take that shirt off. He did the same thing for the bachelor party. And he had the nerve to take his shirt off in front of all the family members. I was like, oh, seriously? Like, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. And starts unbuttoning his shirt. And I'm like, this isn't real. But anyways, so he does his shirt. And he's, you know, grinding on her, straight strip tease on her in front of the whole fam. But she was liking it, right? She was peeping the body, you know, so she's like, okay, I see what you're working with, all right? So Katina goes back, talks to her girls, and her girls were keeping it 100. I'm loving her friends, okay? They were like, hey, do you think you're going to consummate the marriage? And she's like, nah, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to wait a month. Yeah, right, girl. You're not waiting no month. I'm not buying it. But anyways, she said she's going to wait a month, and her girls were like, okay. And so they also were like, hey, your man was looking good. He took his shirt off. What you think, you know? And she's like, oh, he's attractive. Yeah, he was looking good. I'm ready to see what his tats look like. That don't sound like somebody waiting a month, Katina. It doesn't. It doesn't. But hey, do you. So I loved her friends. They were keeping it real. And her friends were talking, and they were like, you know, basically, you know, they think he gonna go all in, you know, all in, diving and everything. And so I thought that was hilarious. And then at the end, her friends were like, oh, sorry, Mom. You know, I hate that you're hearing this, but we're having real girl talk. And I loved it. I thought it was so real, okay? So Katina, we'll see, but I know for a fact she ain't waiting no month, okay? And here's why. So after the wedding, they're going to the hotel. And before that, scratch that. Let's go back to what O said, okay? So O's talking to his boys about sex for the night. And he's like, hey, if she down for it, we can get down with it, okay? And so his boys were laughing like, okay. And he's like, she's fine. She got a good shape. Shit, once she sees me with no shirt off, she gonna be like, okay? So he was real confident that he was getting some that night, okay? And so he's basically like, hey, he's down for whatever. He says he's not gonna pressure it, but he was pressuring it, okay? Anyway, so they're on their way to the hotel. And then when they get to the hotel, you know, Katina put on a nice little slip, okay, a little lingerie. Or would it be lingerie? I would say slip, a night slip, okay? But it was sexy, okay? Unlike the other girls, it's like they didn't even go shopping for this sleepwear. Like, if I was on Married at First Sight, best believe my sleepwear is going to be on point. But not these ladies. Only Katina understood the assignment, okay? So Katina came in with her silk blue little short slip, you know, and so she gets in the bed, and you can tell O was feeling her, and you know O, he gonna have that shirt off in 2 seconds, right? Anyways, so they're in the bed, they're kind of, you know, making out and getting all hot and heavy, and I think they're gonna, if they're not gonna consummate tonight, I give it a week, okay? Who wants to bet me right now? Bet $5 1 week and it will happen, okay? Best believe. All right, so moving on. So we've talked about Noi and Steve. We've talked about Lindsay and Mark. We talked about Jasmina and Chris. And lastly, O and Katina. So that leaves one more couple, y'all. And it was the last couple to get married. Alyssa and Chris. And boy, they saved the best for last. All right, so let's get into it. So they're the last to get married. So they're going to start us off with how they talk to their family, right? And about the wedding before it starts. So she's sitting down with her girls talking about it. She's feeling pretty good about it. She's just like, I hope he's sexy, tall, dark, and handsome, and he has a smile to die for. And baby, Lifetime keeps being messy, showing us Chris's teeth. Now, mind you, Chris's teeth aren't bad. They're not. I just think Lifetime's being messy, zooming in, and maybe have a little filter on there that makes them a little yellowish when they're really not that yellow. Because in other scenes, they weren't as yellow as Lifetime was portraying them to be. But anyways, so they zoom in on his teeth, and basically his teeth aren't as good as Alyssa's, but they're not bad. Okay, let's just be honest. They're not horrible, right? But Alyssa, that's what she's telling her girls, is that's what she wants, okay? And I'm getting worried for Chris. I'm not going to lie. Now they shift over to Chris, and he's talking to his boys, and Chris seems really confident and excited, right? He is so excited, smile on his face. His boys are like, I don't know, you don't seem nervous, but I know you're nervous, okay? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just feeling good, I can't wait to see her. So Chris walks out, and he's waiting on his bride, Miss Beautiful Alyssa. I love her makeup, I love her dress. She looked gorgeous. Now, does that fit her inside? Does that fit her heart? Is her heart gorgeous? I don't know. But she looked gorgeous, okay? Let's just leave it at that. So she walks down the aisle. Her father had like some back issues or something like that. So she walked out by herself, but she walked out confident, So she gets up to Chris, and she seems like she's okay with what she sees. She's smiling. They're having good banter. And then she shows off her ugly cowboy boots with the dress. It's just not my cup of tea. But hey, to each his own. But so she shows her cowboy boots off, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to get to know you, And so they have good banter. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe what I thought she would feel is not what she's going to feel. Okay. So she goes through with the wedding. And they did kiss, which I was surprised about, because Alyssa just seemed like the type to be like, just on the cheek. Just kiss me on the cheek, right? That's what we all thought, I think. Put in the comments if you thought the same thing, because I was thinking the same thing. But she actually kissed him, so I was like, okay, there's hope, there's hope. So after the wedding, they walk over to have that awkward conversation that every couple has. Surprisingly, Alyssa and, what's his name? Chris. Sorry, I was about to call him Mark. Chris, they have a really good conversation. Like, it flows, right? The only thing that was a little hiccup is that he just was dying to mention that he played disc golf. And so he's like, yeah, I play disc golf. And she's like, oh, okay, I don't know what that is. Just like the whole world, we don't know what that is. But he let us know that he was the VP of the association, and that's what he does in his spare time. Alyssa's like, I probably won't be down for it, but we'll see, right? I don't know why he brought it up. It was a weird timing, right? But anyways, Alyssa lets him know that she loves dogs, and so he's like, yep, and loves horses. The way she was acting, Alyssa acts a little bougie. So when she said that she doesn't own a horse, I was kind of shocked. Were y'all shocked? Because I was a little shocked, because she just seemed real bougie, like she has 3 horses at the house. But anyways, so that conversation happens, and now it's time to meet the family at the reception. So this is when the shit hits the fan. Okay, this is when it just doesn't go good. Okay, so let's start off with Alyssa meeting Christopher's friends. Okay, so Chris's friends, number one is they're haters. You are haters. Okay, when you meet someone's spouse or potential, you do not talk negative about the person. You big up your friends. You big them up. You give them the positives. But no, Chris's friends go in there talking shit, right? They say he's condescending. He's basically a know-it-all. So when he's doing that, just change the subject, because he can be very condescending. And he's like a teacher, right? He wants to teach you things. Even if you don't want to know those things, he's going to teach you. I'm like, are y'all for real? Like, that's what y'all have to say about y'all's friends? Christopher, if you're hearing this today, those don't need to be your friends no more. And if they're family, that's even worse. Cut them off. Because what they did to you wasn't right. Okay? Especially with a chick like Alyssa. Because she's already a little, picky. So she don't need to hear that. Okay? So Chris talks to Alyssa's friends, right? And her friends are adorable. They're a cute group of girls. But the friends basically said, hey, Alyssa's not very affectionate. She probably won't sleep in the same bed with you for a while. And just give her space, That's the best you could do. Is just give her space when she's acting a little cranky. And considering that Chris is the type that's condescending and talks a lot and thinks he's, this great guy, I think they're going to clash because she's going to want her space and he's going to want to talk about it. But anyways, so they're basically like, just leave her alone. And Chris, to me, sounds like, okay, I can do that. No problem, right? He doesn't make a big deal out of it. Her friends, again, don't give good responses because for me, if I'm getting married, my friends need to big me up, right? So, yeah, you can tell them little things that I do that's annoying, but you follow it back with a compliment, right? You may say, hey, she likes her own space, but she likes to do this also, right? That's what you do because y'all are friends, right? That's what you do for your friends. Anyways, so going on, it's time for Alyssa and Chris to do their kind of kiss, right? And so that's when the family does a little spoons and forks, ding, 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 ding. And Alyssa's like, oh my gosh, they're being extra. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not kissing him. I'm not going to appease these people, right? And to me, I was like, girl, why did you get on this show? Like, why? But anyways, so she doesn't kiss him and he kind of just, brushes it off like, yeah, I agree, agreeing with her. But he even said in his confessional, hey, I wanted to kiss her, right? I want to get to know my wife. She's beautiful, that kind of thing. But she wasn't really feeling it. And I was kind of sad for that. And I forgot to add, when they were doing their pictures, oh my gosh, again, extra. Like the photographer was like, hey, put your head on his shoulder. Show a little affection in the picture. She's like, I'm not doing that. Like straight said no. Then they were like, hey, give her a twirl. And you could tell Chris wanted to give her a twirl, but he wanted to see if she was okay with it. And she was like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, girl, why are you acting like this towards him? Anyways, and the crazy thing is, her friends and family said that she's kind and shows, not her friends and family, Alyssa. Alyssa said that in her vows that she's kind and will show him respect. Anyways, moving on, okay? So after the reception, it's time to go back to the hotel, right? Because that's what Married at First Sight does. That's what you're supposed to do. After you get married, you get in the car and you go to the hotel. Not Alyssa. Oh no, Alyssa couldn't do that. She couldn't keep it simple, right? Alyssa decides that she's uncomfortable around Chris. And I'm thinking, wait, uncomfortable? What did he do? She's uncomfortable because of what his friends told her about him being cocky and condescending and a know-it-all. That's what she's That's her problem. Is because the friend said that. And I'm like, you're going to base this guy's personality and whether you want to be married to him based off of his friends? That's your only resource? Like, girl. Anyway, so she's in the back room with the producers. And she's like, look, I'm not feeling this guy. His friends told me he's cocky and condescending. And he's a teacher and knows it all. I can't do it. And the producers are like, well, damn, you need to tell Chris he don't even know what's going on. He's sitting out there confused. He's a sweet guy. He did nothing to this girl. And she's out there embarrassing him, got him sitting there looking stupid. Ooh, that pissed me off. Anyways, so she comes out to talk to Chris, and she's just like, I didn't like what I heard today. Therefore, I just think it's best if I just get some sleep. Basically, she's not going to the hotel. Okay. And so Chris handled it so well, better than me. He was like, I'm sorry if I offended you. I don't know what I said, but whatever it is, I'm sorry. And then I'm sitting there talking with my husband, and he's watching it. He goes, this man is apologizing, and he did nothing wrong. Anyways, so she doesn't even have the audacity to tell Chris, doesn't even have the respect and the kindness to tell Chris what's really going on. Saying, hey, what your friend said made me uncomfortable. Nothing. She just leaves him questioning everything, right? So she's like, I'm going to sleep, and going to the room, going to sleep. She walks off. And that's the end of the episode. I was crushed for Chris because he seems like a great guy, but he's in this shitty situation with this Alyssa chick. Anyways, so let me know how y'all feel about this episode. I was heated when it came to Alyssa, of how she treated Chris. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Woo! Now, they went on to the what the next episode's going to look like. Okay, they gave us a little snippet. And they basically showed how the honeymoon's going to go, and they showed us a little drama that pretty much every single couple had and is going to have during this season. So I'm excited because you know me, I want to know the drama, okay? That's what I'm excited for, not these weddings, okay? But anyway, so they gave us a snippet. They showed O going through Katina's phone. They showed Mark getting upset with Lindsay, saying she sucks at communicating. They went into it. So I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see about Alyssa and Chris. Like, do they go on the honeymoon, and is it enjoyable? Does she get past this? I just want to know, right? So thank you for coming on to the channel today. I enjoyed watching this episode, and I'm so glad that the weddings are over. Be sure again to like and subscribe if you like what you see. And then I will see you guys back next week. Now, if you're following my keto journey, I'm going to be doing my video on keto probably tomorrow, showing you my results and where I'm at this week. It was a rough week, guys. You know, it was my birthday week, and it was rough. So I'll just give y'all all the details of how I handled that this week, because this is going to be 20 days on keto, and so I'll let y'all know in a couple days. Anyways, have a good night. I'm checking out.